Welcome back. My name's Andrea Morrison. I'm here with Lady Laforet from the Women's Welcome Center Shelter, who's here to shed a light on their current needs and challenges. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Lady Laforet. I'm the Executive Director at the Welcome Center Shelter for Women and Families, where we provide emergency short-term shelter to any woman, any family in the community who is experiencing homelessness for any reason.
Okay, so there's been a lot of talk lately in the media about hiatus house and shortages, and so can you just clarify a little bit the differences between the organizations and who should be coming to you?
I would say we both have long histories. They're heading into their 45th year. We are celebrating our 30th.
Yeah.
Domestic violence specific shelter would be hiatus house.
Okay.
So the Welcome Center actually supports women who are experiencing homelessness for any reason.
Okay.
So we could be looking at evictions, relocations to the area, students, youth who may have been asked to leave the home,
Okay.
Financial crisis. So we run a sort of a fuller gamut, whereas the focus is very hypervigilant on domestic violence, intimate partner violence at hiatus house.
So anyone that is in need of housing and is struggling with homelessness comes to you? Okay.
Yes.
And what are your current needs? Have they changed in recent years?
They have. I would say we've seen a huge spike in families experiencing homelessness. So what we've seen is the need greatly increasing and our space is not.
Okay.
So as the need increases, we're seeing more families and a changing dynamic. We're seeing mostly women-led families, 2+ children, and we're seeing that we're having a lot longer stays based on the housing crisis that the whole nation is in right now.
Okay.
We are unfortunately in a position of holding on to women longer than we would like to while we are looking for safe, affordable housing in the community.
So there's a shortage on safe, affordable housing, and people are getting, basically, they just can't keep up?
We bottleneck. You see a shelter system that really gets bottlenecked trying to provide the supports but get them back out into the community, because we know ultimately that's where women and families belong. We want them, our short shelter stays, and we're finding that there's not the stock for it, there's not the affordability for it. And there's a lot of stigma and discrimination for women and families who are looking for housing, specifically if you're low income, that can make it a challenge to engage with local landlords to find places to go.
What kind of stigmas exist?
Well, I think when you're a single mom, especially if you're a single mom with several children, maybe you're in Ontario Works, what you're seeing is a lot of landlords who don't want to rent to people who are in income supports, or landlords who are hesitant to rent to single moms with kids if they're worried about noise. A lot of it has to do mainly with income supports and renting to people who are on an income support. And so it's something that as a single mom you have to go out and deal with, and you're calling places and landlords and you're not getting calls back, and the whole time you're going through all of that, you're in shelter and you're waiting.
How traumatic.
Yes.
Yeah. So these poor families and the suffering that they're going through, what do you think we should be doing better, and how can we dispel some of these stigmas so that there's more accessibility for them?
Well, one of the things we've noticed is that as our family stays have increased, we tend to look at you as the mom, as the head of household, and that's who we are working with. And we're seeing all of these children who are accompanying their caregivers into homelessness. And they're not necessarily viewed, though, as clients themselves. So because of the system we have in place in Windsor, we don't have a bricks and mortar family shelter. We support women and children along with the City of Windsor through provincial funding at area motels. And so what that means is you have a 225 square foot motel room. And that's it. There's no programming space, there's no recreation space, there's no office space. So one of the things we're looking at is Patsy's Place, which is a campaign to bring a portable classroom trailer that would be placed on site where we service families, that would allow us to start bringing in some targeted family supports, children-specific supports, to start lowering some of those negative impacts that we know are there from accessing shelter.
Yeah, because children shouldn't be punished for what they're born into, right? That's I think the part that always breaks my heart, is that you know, the randomness of you're given, this is your parent, this is your lot in life, but we have an obligation, I think, as society to try to protect our most vulnerable. So how will Patsy's Place help with that, do you feel?
Well, I think with Patsy's Place, the memory of Patricia Noonan, who was instrumental to it, and she was a huge supporter of the center, and she was always pushing us to do new things, and even her state at this point is supporting us. And we knew we wanted to do something really impactful with those funds. So the impact we see is that if we give some focused space to it, we have many agencies in the community who want to support the kids that we're serving. And we don't have any space for them to do it. And we know that for families in shelter and low-income families in general, transportation is an issue, access is an issue. Let's bring it directly to them. And let's see if we can start to wrap these kids in supports, build some resiliency, lower some of those negative impacts that we know are there. And then hopefully prevent the next generation from having higher instances of homelessness themselves.
Yeah.